is CTV News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. $500,000 on the table in Amherstburg tonight as Town Council weighed where it wants the money left when alcoholic beverage producer Diageo pulled out of town to go. But as CTV's Robert Lothian reports, the final decision isn't really theirs to make.
Once a driver in Amherstburg's economy, Crown Royal producer Diageo is funding one last contribution. Diageo and the provincial government reaching a $23 million agreement earlier this year. The town deciding Monday where in the town they want to use $500,000 given by the company.
It was our town that suffered the loss. It's our town that should benefit from any gain. Longtime Diageo employee Nicolette Dufour asking council to direct the money to the Amherstburg Community Services, saying it's the want of retirees she spoke with. So I am glad I at least made the list. My hopes are that it goes right to the top of the list. Rather than choosing one project, the town is sending a laundry list of potential benefactors, ranging from helping the ACS to creating a college bursary, supporting a project along the waterfront, or reopening a road running through the plant property.
Let them say no to it, because that'll show the true colors. This is more of a test as well, in my opinion, to see where they're gonna lay their cards.
A new wrinkle council learned Monday afternoon. The Ford government will get the final say on which project moves forward.
I mean, we got less than 2% of all the money that went to all the other municipalities. We're the ones that are suffering. We lost 200 good paying jobs. And that's every week.
Feeling left in the dark, town staff are unsure when an option will be chosen, leaving Amherstburg waiting to learn whether the money will actually benefit its residents. In Amherstburg, Robert Lothian, CTV News.
Amherstburg and Windsor, Essex as a whole is no stranger to severe storms and even tornadoes. But as the summer months approach, researchers are warning to be wary of AI images as the turbulent weather blows through. Here's CTV's Jerry Dewan with that story.
Northern Tornadoes Project researchers continue to investigate the May 19th storms that moved through the London region. But project director Dave Sills has concerns about images of tornadoes that didn't happen.
We had 4 different images of tornadoes circulating during the event and after the event, and it just causes all kinds of problems.
Sills worries those posting the images don't fully appreciate the complications they're creating.
For Environment Canada, who's trying to issue tornado warnings in real time, if they see something like that and issue a tornado warning based on a false image of a tornado, that's a big problem.
Sills says we experienced a bow echo storm that generated 2 tornadoes and a downburst. The first significant event was an F0 tornado that touched down near Melbourne around 5:30 in the afternoon. It tracked west for about 8 kilometers, snapping off and uprooting trees, and did some damage to a farm structure. There were no reported injuries from that event. Sills captured this image of the tornado that carried estimated wind speeds of 115 kilometers an hour.
After that, actually 2 simultaneous events. One was a 26 kilometer long track of a tornado that was rated EF1. And at the same time that was happening, there was an EF1 downburst going across East London into the Dorchester area.
But AI images showed larger tornadoes in the city.
We found out where they were taken and what direction they were facing. And it was clear that there was no damage where they were looking, so there was no tornado there, right? The radar showed no rotation. It just wasn't happening.
Sills says he has concerns for those who suffer extreme anxiety during storm events. The NTP works with a social scientist who studies those impacts.
It's clear that some people have something approaching PTSD after these events. Like every time there's a storm afterwards, their anxiety goes through the roof.
Sills says if AI fakes continue to cause problems, it may require a stronger response.
It's basically the equivalent of yelling bomb in an airport, right? You can't do this.
We reached out to London police, who issued a statement saying creating or sharing false information during emergencies, including AI-generated images, can contribute to confusion, impact public trust, and potentially divert emergency resources. While each situation is unique, there may be circumstances where these types of actions could be subject to review under existing criminal laws. At the very least, Sills is hoping those online will be cautious before sharing images that may be fakes. Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
To Walpole Island now, where OPP have charged a 34-year-old from Wallaceburg, whom they say struck and killed a pedestrian back in January. Police say the crash happened on Tecumseh Road, January 20th. Chloe Smith has been charged with failing to stop at an accident resulting in death. It was a busy Sunday for Chatham-Kent police with arrests after two separate incidents. First in Chatham, police issuing a shelter-in-place alert in the afternoon during a weapons investigation on Queen's Line. Investigators say a 28-year-old Windsor man allegedly took an 18-year-old woman from her home against her will and sexually assaulted her. He's now facing a number of charges, including kidnapping, sexual assault, and weapons offenses. Meanwhile, in Dresden, police say a separate dispute turned violent when a 19-year-old man allegedly pulled a knife, threatening a victim and moving toward them. He, too, is facing multiple charges. And a busy weekend for Windsor police, too, making 5 impaired driving arrests across the city, from drivers passed out behind the wheel to crashes to a stop at the Ambassador Bridge. Investigators also say drugs, including suspected meth and fentanyl, were seized in some of the incidents. Police tape is gone in an East Windsor neighborhood, but the investigation is far from over after an officer-involved shooting left a 35-year-old man dead. The SIU is now working to piece together what happened. CTV's Robert Lothian returns with the latest.
6 members of the Special Investigations Unit spending Saturday on Roseville Garden Drive, piecing together the scene which spreads across multiple properties. Windsor police responding to the area around 6:30 p.m. Friday for reports of a man with a knife. The SIU says he was in an altercation with another man who was found injured in the area. Officers found the individual with the knife after he tried to flee on foot. The watchdog says a conducted energy weapon was deployed before officers discharged their firearms at the man. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced deceased. Residents in the area tell us it's a shock for the neighborhood.
Just pop, pop, pop. That's all I heard. And I thought, given the time of year it is, it's just fireworks. Turns out that was the shooting.
By the time I reached this point here, there were a couple of ambulances and somebody was being loaded into.
Uneasy, frightened, scared. I'm just glad I don't have family with little kids right now.
Robert Lothian, CTV News.
A Windsor police officer has been spared termination but demoted after admitting to criminally harassing a female co-worker. The case involved repeated anonymous calls and disturbing allegations, and as CTV's Michelle Molesky reports, the decision means he can now return to work.
A demotion to 3rd class is significant.
Kent Rice is the president of the Windsor Police Association. He says the matter has been challenging.
I have 2 members deeply affected by this. I have a female communicator who's been a long time serving, really well liked and beloved member of the police service who's been victimized by this. And then I have another long-standing officer who's served to this community.
Joshua Smith pleaded guilty in provincial court to criminal harassment. He admitted to blocking his number before calling a female co-worker 7 times in 2 weeks. Smith didn't say anything, but the victim could hear him moaning while he performed a sex act on himself. He was sentenced to 2 years probation, which triggered a penalty hearing under the Police Services Act. Windsor wanted him fired. The association fought for a demotion.
Officer Smith, as Mr. Walton explained, was very close to being terminated. However, did believe that it still felt in the realm that a significant penalty could be imposed and that he could still serve a meaningful function to the Windsor Police Service.
The hearing officer found Smith's guilty plea, remorse, along with counseling for alcohol abuse and medical treatment for ADHD, led him to believe Smith is unlikely to reoffend. He can now return to work, even though he cannot be at headquarters within half an hour of the victim's shift times.
There will be some difficulties associated with that. We are, however, a large organization, so we'll have to look and develop a safety plan for the officer involved, as well as the person who is affected by his actions.
Michelle Molesky, CTV News.
At Windsor City Hall, councillors say residents are losing their voice when it comes to development decisions, sparking a push to bring back appeal rights. CTV's Sanjay Maru has more.
It's created a divide in the community. It's created a divide on council. And that in and of itself tells me it's a bad process.
Windsor City Council says residents deserve the ability to appeal certain planning decisions to the Ontario Land Tribunal. This after the tribunal approved a townhouse development on 6th Concession Road despite local traffic and safety concerns, with city staff saying they could not find an expert planner to defend council's position. But councillors say the bigger issue, residents come to council expecting their elected representatives to help them, but developers can still appeal to the OLT. Meanwhile, residents have lost that right. The ask is largely symbolic, however, with little expectation the province will act.
I know they're not going to change. I know darn well they're not going to change. It's a good soundbite. We can ask.
Also today, council approving a $500,000 staycation event series using tourism reserve funding. The goal, to give people more affordable things to do close to home as travel costs rise.
We're promoting tourism, so anything that would encourage residents, families, anyone to come down and support staying in Windsor and spending their money in Windsor would be eligible for this type of funding.
The end of today's meeting saw Mayor Drew Dilkens face questions over his recent letter regarding comments made by the head of the Welcome Centre Shelter for Women and Families, who said the shelter requested an extra $192,000 a year to expand bed capacity, but was denied. Today, Dilkens standing by his letter, which opened with, quote, 2026 is an election year. Funny things happen in election years. The mayor saying the shelter's funding was not cut, but held steady, and that the request came after this year's budget had already been set.
It was really odd behavior to do a drive-by smear on that type of thing with your funder, right? That's not the way. You don't go out and do public announcements that we asked for money and the city said no and try and make your largest funder look bad when the facts of the matter don't match what they're saying.
Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
Construction is moving quickly on Front Road in LaSalle, but for some businesses and residents, so is the frustration. CTV's Bob Belichico has more.
If it wasn't for that, we'd be doing nothing.
For months, a side entrance off Kenwood Boulevard has been a major lifeline keeping Renee's Auto Service operating during storm sewer reconstruction on Front Road in LaSalle.
We dropped about 80% of our business. In the springtime, it's better than the fall, but we're still down quite a bit.
LaSalle Mayor Crystal Malash says the construction crew has done their best to ensure access to each business.
They have been really helpful in that sense as to allowing us to use it if they're not around. If they're like close by, then obviously we can't.
The effects of the reconstruction has seen north-south traffic move to Matchett, which has caused backups and headaches for many, including this Matchett Road resident who didn't want to appear on camera.
Anytime between 3 and 7 o'clock, it's almost impossible to get out of the driveway.
Sometimes they're bumper to bumper, and you just got to wait to get in or out of your driveway.
One resident tells CTV News impatient motorists can be heard honking and yelling at vehicles.
Absolutely, the sooner the better. I can't wait.
I'm happy to say within the next week or so, maybe 2 weeks, we should see the Laurier area, really everything south of Laurier, fully opening.
Malash says a little bit of relief is on the horizon. Laurier Drive is about to reopen.
We'll see some major improvements with the traffic flow there in just a couple weeks.
According to Malash, reconstruction will then move north of Laurier to Riom, all of which is expected to be complete sometime in late July. Now on Tuesday, Council will discuss road closures for the Strawberry Festival Parade on June 13th, which will be held once again at the Vollmer Complex.
We've never had it right there since we've moved it to the Vollmer, so this is quite a different change for us, and we might love it. I don't know. It's going to be a change for our residents who always enjoyed it off Front Road.
Once the work on Front Road is complete, attention will turn to Malden Road.
And so in 26, you'll see some bridge work. You'll see utility replacements and things like that going along Malden Road. But the major construction will now happen in 27 to allow us time to fully open in Front Road.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald has your full weather details coming up in 2 minutes' time.
I will miss all of you. Well, most of you.
And still ahead, a longtime member of Doug Ford's inner circle is calling it quits. Why Caroline Mulrooney says it's time. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald is here with our first look at the weather tonight. And Gary, we are warming up.
Warming up, you are correct, sir. Good evening, Travis. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sunshine. Temperatures that are 3 to 5 degrees above seasonal. That is what we are expecting for the next maybe 5 or 6 days straight. And today started with some beautiful weather. In the late morning, we were already looking at temperatures in the mid-teens. We reached a high anywhere from about 23 to almost 26 degrees Celsius between Windsor, Essex, Chatham, Kent, Amherstburg, Bell River, our friends in Lakeshore, and of course, Kingsville, Leamington, Pelee Island. A bit breezier if you were closer to the water, both the Detroit River and Lake Erie shoreline. And a lot of boaters were taking advantage. A lot of people fishing, too, in Amherstburg today. Not much to see here across southwestern Ontario, but there are some showers to the north of us. That disturbance does stay to the north through the overnight and into tomorrow morning, which leaves us with essentially an area of high pressure keeping us quiet. Not likely to see any significant boundaries, layers moving through, no significant cold fronts that could be the trigger for active weather with stormy weather. Thunderstorm activity, gusty winds, not likely to see a system of low pressure in and of itself to move through the lower Great Lakes in the next 24 to 48, maybe even 72 hours, in fact. The overnight temperatures are in the double digits, and that would be seasonal for this time of the year. We're usually averaging about 11 to 12 degrees Celsius. So seasonal in terms of the lows, but the highs are going to be maybe 3 to 5 degrees above seasonal, certainly for tomorrow. Take a look at our breakdown for our Tuesday. Sunny, high UV throughout the midday and afternoon in particular, so use that sunblock or sunscreen early and often to exposed areas, and of course sunglasses to protect your eyesight. Southwesterly winds are relatively quiet through the overnight pre-dawn. They just pick up a bit. It'll be breezy in the afternoon. Southwesterly is sustained at about 15 kilometers per hour. So look at these temperatures. Average temperature for this time of the year is closer to about 22 to 23 degrees. We're up to 26 tomorrow, as mentioned, 28. Mixture of sun and cloud. That's on Wednesday. By the way, tomorrow the humidex value is 29, almost 30. 24 and sunny on Thursday. Friday sunny, 25, mid-20s, if not lower 20s, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. That's a 7-day stretch where the average temperature is actually slightly above 25 degrees. Not a bad-looking forecast if you love the sunshine, of course. Travis?
Thank you, Gary. Tim Hortons says it's looking to fill thousands of jobs across the country. The coffee chain says it plans to hire 10,000 local workers while scaling back its use of the temporary foreign worker program. The move comes as Tim Hortons gets ready to expand with 80 new locations planned nationwide. The company also says it will stop pushing Ottawa to broaden the program as youth unemployment remains high. In Toronto, the TSX gained 360 points while American markets were closed for Memorial Day. The Canadian dollar added a modest 0.02 of a cent. The gold and oil markets were closed. CTV News Windsor has launched a newsletter helping you start your day with the latest local news. By signing up, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. A key member of Premier Doug Ford's cabinet is calling it a career at Queen's Park. After 8 years in provincial politics, Caroline Mulrooney says she'll step down as cabinet minister and York Simcoe MPP next month. Mulrooney says becoming an empty nester, along with the loss of her father, former Prime Minister Brian Mulrooney, helped put things into perspective and sparked the decision to start a new chapter.
And to all members of this House, thank you. We may disagree from time to time, but there is a shared sense of purpose in this place that Ontarians do not always get to see. I have learned from all of you, and I will miss all of you. Well, most of you.
Champion for fiscal responsibility and for Francophone communities across the province. And I just want to thank her for her hard work and for carrying on her legacy of public service that her father, Brian, began.
Shovels are now in the ground at Ontario Place as the Ford government moves ahead with its controversial plan to relocate the Ontario Science Centre. As CTV's Beth McDonnell reports, supporters are calling it a major step forward, while critics say the debate is far from over.
Shovels are in the ground by the waterfront. The new Ontario Science Centre is rising at Ontario Place.
At the heart of the new Ontario Place will be the new Ontario Science Centre.
Premier Doug Ford, along with members from the government, Science Centre Board and industry partners, all coming together for the groundbreaking ceremony.
The new state-of-the-art, fully accessible Science Centre, which is on track to open in 2029, will inspire the next generation of children and families with new and exciting programming in modern, light-filled spaces.
Highlights of the new centre include a 400,000 square foot building for immersive experiences, hands-on exhibits and educational workshops, renovated and enhanced pods to create science-themed experiences, and an upgraded Cinesphere with acoustic enhancements to the IMAX theatre, offering double the seating of the former space.
It's a moonscape. I mean, they're talking about 2029 now.
The NDP, meanwhile, says the announcement was an opportunity to try and change the channel on other issues the government is dealing with and doesn't speak to the priorities of the people around affordability.
You know, what we would like is to be able to go to the Ontario Science Centre right now. Why is it closed? Why has the government made this terrible decision? And we know that it was only ever about giving the government an excuse for their private therma spa.
The government's decision to relocate the Science Centre away from the Don Mills site 2 years ago has been controversial. Many claimed it was underfunded and fought to see it repaired, praising it for its unique architecture and ravine setting. Some argue now the centre is half the size and is more about generating tourism than education.
The cost so far will be $1.1 billion. $1.1 billion that I think most Ontarians believe that would be better spent on healthcare or education.
Save Ontario Science Centre is now focused on keeping and reimagining the former site. Back on the waterfront, the Ontario government says the new Science Centre will create more than 1,000 jobs and attract millions every year.
It's a vision that will make Sydney, Australia go, why didn't we do that? It's absolutely stunning. This is a proud day for all of us.
The start of its construction, another milestone as Ontario Place transforms. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
Gary's back with another look at the 7-day forecast. And Gary, yeah, there are a couple clouds on there, but a lot of little sun icons on the forecast.
You were right about that. Sunshine, Travis, does dominate the forecast the next 7 days. The highs and lows are, generally speaking, well, above seasonal. A few days where we're in single digits, possibly by Friday morning, maybe Saturday morning for lows. But I think mid-20s, if not above the 25-degree mark, is the story for the next 4 days straight. And then we'll cool off, but still be fair and seasonal from the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, conventionally speaking, of course, through to Monday, a week from now. Tomorrow, in particular, a high UV rating, very high, in fact, at 9. 26 feels like 29. That's your peak temperature that comes in around 5 p.m. So enjoy the sunshine. Of course, protect your eyes and use that sunscreen. And of course, We'll see if this continues. I think there's a high percentage that it will through to at least Friday, Saturday. That is a look at your weather. Travis?
Thank you, Gary. Finally tonight, a 101-year-old is proving age really may just be a number, still hitting the gym and staying active. As CTV's Lawrence Stallone reports, researchers say moving more can pay off at any age.
Barbara Clark is 101 years old.
I've always been active. That's the secret.
When she's not gardening or playing the piano, Clark is here, exercising.
I think everybody should take exercises. I started a long time ago.
Clark says she played golf to keep fit in her earlier years. Her last game nearly a decade ago when she was 92.
It wasn't a very stellar game, believe me.
Now she's traded in her golf clubs for dumbbells and trains with other dedicated seniors twice a week at Chartwell Dorchester Terrace.
It gives them the ability to be more independent and to move and to have less assistance. They really notice a big difference here. They've all increased their weights.
The classes include a warm-up, strength training, balance exercises, and stretching.
It involves everything. I don't miss a muscle group.
Experts say strength training can improve balance, independence, and brain health for older patients.
Weightlifting can improve cognition, including executive function, which refers to our ability to think, plan, make decisions, our memory, and our attention. And this is true in healthy, preclinical and clinical older adult populations. And so sort of keeping sharp as we age is really important.
And for anyone who says they are too busy to exercise.
What do I say to them? Oh, I wouldn't like to tell you.
So Clark left me no option but to join in. And it turns out keeping up with a 101-year-old is harder than it looks.
It keeps me young.
Lawrence Stallone, CTV News.
That's our time for tonight. We hope you'll join us tomorrow. For now, I'm Travis Fortnum. Take care.